Okay, so we are currently here outside the New Scotland Yard. The protesters have been gathering for a while now. More and more people are approaching. And here we have... We'll share some thoughts.
So you're on the wrong side for me. I wonder if... Okay.
Would you care to share about your opinions?
We here because the police is trying to stop the protesting against the genocidal ambassador of Nazi Israel. And we are here to protest our right to continue our campaign, demanding that she is expelled from the UK. She's a dangerous genocidal, calling to exterminate hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and destroy every school and every building in Gaza. She is no better than those who exterminated my family some 80 years ago. And also the police, as I made this special banner for today, the police are also doing now, creating a no-go area for people who are against the genocide. They want to have gradually all of London only for people who either participate or support the genocide. It is disgrace, it is outrageous, and we won't be silent, and we will carry on protesting everywhere in London. Thank you.
Thank you. So as you can see, there are more and more people that are gathering now.
I just want to let you know, we've spoken to the officer in charge. We have made it clear.
Not touch me.
That this is not a demonstration against the ambassador. It is, I repeat, it is not a demonstration against Hottoveli. This demonstration is to protest against the decision of the police to ban us from Swiss Cottage. The officer in charge is being reasonable with us. He's accepted what we're saying. So it is important that we do not chant against the ambassador. It is important that we restrict ourselves, or we can do anything else. But this demonstration, to repeat, is not directed at her. If we do that, we run the risk of breaching the conditions, them shutting down this protest and arresting us. Unfortunately, that's the situation we find ourselves. I'm sure you all know we are going to be vigorously contesting the ban. We are not going to let that rest. We will fight it every inch. But tonight, the protest is against the police. It is not against Hottoveli. So please, just remember that. Let's keep the chants and the slogans and everything appropriate to that. And we'll have a good protest, and we will regroup and discuss what to do. Next week. And we will keep everybody posted. So thank you for coming. And free Palestine! Free Palestine!
You are approaching us. You are the one approaching us. You are the one approaching us. You're welcome to film this flag. You're welcome to film this flag.
We were banned after last week when our protest was infiltrated by very aggressive and racist Zionists. Who filmed themselves pulling the plug out of the speaker and making racist accusations against Muslims. And I'm appalled by that. It's disgusting. And trans people, and really, and Chinese people, and women, we've suffered that as well. Misogyny, and we're sick of it. But the thing is that they created that disturbance, and then the police acted on that to ban our protest. They didn't impose conditions on the Zionists, as they should have done, who were the ones that created the disturbance. Our protest has been peaceful week after week after week. The Zionists have done their best to provoke us, to get in our faces, aggressive, horrible slogans, really nasty, and we have done our best to resist that kind of provocation, because that's not why we are there. We are protesting genocide, and that's why we're here, protesting our right to protest genocide. We are allowed to protest genocide, and we resist Zionists and the police working together to tell us that we can't do that. And I'm also going to say that some of the Zionists like to call themselves legal observers and put themselves in yellow vests. A yellow vest doesn't make you an independent legal observer, so do not be fooled.
That makes you a racist in a yellow vest. They should have been arrested.
Comrades, just another safety announcement. The police are saying that we need to try and keep off the road. So can we please spread out? Please can we move, just spread out a little bit so that we're not encroaching on the road. And let's keep this peaceful, folks.
Should we get Carol on the mic? Yeah. As Jonathan said, the reason that we're here protesting the Met Police is that Jewish people have a right to reject Zionism. We have that right, and we think it stands in our history to reject Zionism. And we're proud of our rejection of Zionism. And the police do not understand that. They instead discriminate against us. They discriminate against anti-Zionist Jews, and they deny us our anti-Zionist Jewish identity. And for that we say, shame on them! Shame on them! Shame on them! Thank you everyone for coming. Would you like to speak? Where's Carol? Carol? Carol, do you want to speak?
Okay. Are you listening, police? Are you listening? Many years ago, I was in Paris, and a policewoman hit me with a baton. And I was told, this will never happen in this country. The British police are different. Are they? No. Are they violent? Yes. Do they take advantage of their position? Yes.
Oh yeah, no, and she pretends to be a legal observer. Yeah, no, probably not.
I think that we have to do something. The fact that they give succor to those who commit genocide and think, oh, well, no, they are very nice people. They probably wear very nice dresses and coats. But those of us who have very nice eyes...
So, with your own words, can you explain to us what happened last week?
So last week at our usual weekly demonstration in Swiss Cottage, we were attacked effectively by a large group of Zionists, together with ultra-right fascists amongst them. And our demonstration was, as I say, attacked. They infiltrated into our demonstration area. They damaged our equipment. They were intimidating and threatening. They shouted and screamed abuse in our faces. The most disgraceful, homophobic, racist, misogynistic, every kind of abuse you can imagine. And we were very threatening and very intimidating. After about 20 minutes, the police moved some of them across the road. Others were left outside the barrier and carried on with that behavior, although to a lesser degree. And then we held our normal weekly demonstration, which was fine. Once the police acted, it was fine. And then, during the week, we heard late last night that the protest had been banned. Well, the police said on the basis of keeping public order. So it's a complete travesty, a complete outrage. Instead of placing a section order on us, the section order should have been applied to the counter-protesters where all the problems arise from.
Yes, because I heard that there were a lot of women that were followed afterwards. A lot of people were intimidated. Would you care to share more about that and how that woman felt?
Yes, in fact, many of our protesters, the majority of our protesters are women actually. But we understand that there were women passers-by who were hassled, who were again intimidated, insulted and abused and followed down the road because they said, excuse me, can I get through, and what are you doing, and things like that. So they were not only having a go at us, but ordinary members of the local community just passing by.
And did the police do anything about that?
No, there were no arrests. They did move them across the road, but in my opinion far too late. It could have been run right at the beginning. And yes, they just got away with all of it.
Writing in newspapers, winding up the police to make it look as though peaceful protesters supporting the risen people of Palestine who are standing up for their right to national self-determination against genocide, as though we are the terrorists and racists and the oppressors. Whereas we stand against oppression, we stand against terrorism, we stand against racism. And on top of this double whammy of attacking FRFI on Wednesday and IJAN on Thursday and Friday, let me tell you that the third wheel in this triumvirate, Camden Council, on Monday is going to be discussing, and it will pass because the Labour Party have a majority, new measures to stop people lobbying the council on what they call matters of non-local interest. They will restrict delegations and deputations to things to do with the bin collection and whether the dogs are fouling in the road.
What about pensions investment?
Well, exactly. It's pensions investment that they want to stop us questioning. It's absolutely a local issue, comrade. I completely agree. But they're going to give the mayor more powers to close meetings, to expel people from the chamber, and they're going to pass a special little thing that says you can't bring any flags and banners. Well, let me tell you, when we were banned on Wednesday, instead of just moping about it, we took the beating that was banned, the launch of the book, into Camden Council. We held the meeting inside the Camden building. And did we have flags and banners? Yes, we had plenty. And did we launch the book? Yes, we did. And did we hear our international speakers? Yes, we did. And the people from IJAN and Crossroads and all the Jewish organisations and non-Jewish people supporting this picket, which has been taking place week after week in Swiss Cottage, are doing the same thing today. We're taking the fight to those who try to stop us. We're not taking this lying down. We're not skulking off. We're not hiding under a stone. We're here to show our solidarity with the national liberation struggle of Palestine, and we're going to keep doing it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Solidarity and forward with the fight, comrades.
Viva, viva!
Palestina!
Viva, viva!
Palestina!
Viva, viva!
Palestina! Comrades, we have a fantastic speaker next. Dr. Agnes Corey is a Holocaust survivor and persistent supporter of our picket. We are proud to have Holocaust survivors stand as our picket as Jews against genocide. And to stand here to protest the Met Police's outrageous ban against the Jewish right for expression against Zionism. We find it anti-Semitic. We're clearly the wrong type of Jews. So I pass on to Agnes to speak a bit more about our experience of protesting against genocide in Swiss Cottage. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay, well, Oscar stole my words. I was going to say that my name is Agnes Corey. I'm a Jewish Holocaust child survivor. I'm also a Holocaust researcher. I've done lots of presentations and lots of articles about the horrors of the Holocaust, and I will carry on doing that as long as I live. I'm also a resident in Swiss Cottage, very close to Swiss Cottage. So, dear police, can I please appeal to you to allow me my right to protest in Swiss Cottage against what I find horrendous, against any kind of murder, any kind, from any side. I want peace, and allow me to protest in peace as I've been doing until now. Trust me, I recognize genocide because I'm a Holocaust survivor and a Holocaust researcher. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Sarah?
Thank you, Agnes. You know, we're so glad to have you join the IJAN picket every week. And I wanted to just do a call out to IJAN and all the Jewish people who have been calling out genocide. That has been tremendously important to put a spotlight on the horrors that have gone on in Gaza and across Palestine, including the West Bank. We're from a group called Women of Color in the Global Women's Strike. We've been attending the picket every week for 69 weeks. And what happened last week will really shed light on what side the police are on. First of all, and I have to say that we always highlight the women and children in Gaza who are suffering the worst horrors. They are the first victims. And really, it's the mothers who are trying to keep everyone together, trying to feed their children who are starving. And we never forget that. And the Friday picket helps us keep on track in supporting the Palestinian people, starting with the mothers. So last week, about 12 or 14 Zionists stormed into the picket area. They had obviously planned it. And before the picket started, they were caught on camera. A group of them were having a friendly chat with the police. So it was all arranged. Okay, but we managed. You know, I was so uplifted because the picket mobilized together. We shouted on the police to get them out. And people filmed. Everybody got out their camera. We filmed everything. And there's a fantastic clip from that picket that's going around, and you must have a look at it. We managed in 15 minutes to get the police to move those Zionists. And we went on and we had another great speak out. Yes. And I think that success, that little victory that we won, they then used to shut down the picket and ban us. But we do not accept the ban. We will fight it, and we will carry on doing whatever we can to support Palestinian people, because we're defending them to defend ourselves. Those are our people in Palestine, our families, our children, our mothers and grandmothers. We never forget that. So I wanted to say thank you again for people turning out at short notice see people from all kinds of groups, different ages, different nationalities, different backgrounds. We come together in support of Palestine, and we never stop until Palestine is free. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Thank you so much, Sarah, for speaking so eloquently about the repression that we face from the police and the Zionists. And there's one person amongst us who knows something very well about how the police repress anti-Zionists. She has been a persistent supporter of Jewish people who stand against genocide and who stand against Zionism. I welcome to speak Yael Khan.
So in 2025, we're now creating ghettos in London where instead of blocking, they're actually trying to stop us from going, trying to stop the people who are against genocide. Shame on them. There is no-go area in London that we cannot go to. Shame on you, Met! The Met is arresting me. And the Met is depriving me. They actually stole my mobile. At the behest of thee who not dare to name her. It's nothing to do, she's not representing the country where I was born. I never heard of, there is a word we're not allowed to mention. I don't know why she needs my mobile. She might be contacting you, you know. Anybody on my list now, you know, if you get a nice, friendly contact from A. So be very polite, tell her that, you don't mind genocide. Genocide is just normal, and the Holocaust is fine. We have no problem. To say exterminating 600,000, like in Dresden, that's okay. Destroying every school in Gaza because there are definitely tunnels there. That's all right. Yeah, we all, I don't know, maybe next time the police will demand that we actually be only allowed to shout support for A. Yeah, you know, her career is there. I'm not allowed to have sex with non-Jews, you know. That's the group that she was supporting in Israel. Sorry, I shouldn't really mention that. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention Israel. I don't know. So, long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Gaza! Long live Gaza! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Smash Zionism! Make police, shame on you!
Viva, viva! Palestina!
Viva, viva!
Palestina!
Viva, viva! Something that makes me very proud, comrades, is the internationalism of our movement. We are against ethno-states and we are against any belief in any type of supremacy. And that is why our picket week in, week out drew people from all around the world. And we are so proud that we stand in a movement and in a history of internationalism. It is vital for supporting Palestinians. It is vital that we support them wherever we are in the world. Our struggle is their struggle. So I'm going to invite Jonathan up to speak a bit about our struggle. Thank you. Viva, viva!
Palestina!
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 So, I'm so happy to be surrounded by our Jewish comrades again, making history. And where are we now? We are outside the Scotland Yard. What does that mean? This is the police force that has accumulated the experience acts of genocide across the world. This is the police force that has accumulated the experience and the taste for the concentration camps of the Mau Mau in Kenya, for the concentration camps in Malaysia, for the forced famine of 40 million people in India, millions of people in Ireland, and all of the experience is accumulated in every single police officer that serves this institution. They are now our friends that never will be. Last week, they came in cahoots with the fascists. Again, because they tried for so long to stop the IJAN picket. First of all, how dare they? They reduced the allowance of the picket to 1 hour. In this country, you're allowed to protest 24 hours a day. If you are static, they reduced it to 1 hour, and they thought they could demoralize us. They didn't. So they move on to the next tactic. They have comrades over here. The next tactic, and this is important, we are living at that moment in history when the police and the regime is finding democracy an inconvenience. So they are now using the next set of tactics, which is alliance with the fascists. They set out and they unleashed the fascist dogs on us. 12 of them were allowed to infiltrate in cahoots with the police and attack our comrades who very disciplinedly did not reply to the provocation. A big hooray to our comrades who were so disciplined. They are here to provoke us. They are not here for us. And we should all be very mindful. This is an important time in history. We are fighting for not just the liberation of Palestine, but for the defense of democracy, the right to protest, the right to say what we want to say. Anybody in this country who wants to defend the right to protest should be here and should be coming and getting in contact with us and supporting us. Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva!
Thank you, comrade! It has been a tremendous week for repression against Palestinians, Palestinian speech in the UK. Did everyone see what happened with Cambridge University and the outrageous proceedings they brought? Cambridge University tried to obtain a 5-year injunction against university students in Cambridge for their willingness to protest genocide, for their willingness to stand with the Palestinian cause. Shame on them! They wanted a 5-year injunction because people have been protesting on the lawns of Cambridge University, and it shames them to have these protests. And that is why they sought to outlaw them. But fortunately the courts weren't great. The courts said that the students weren't allowed to protest the ceremony, but they did strike down the attempt to get a 5-year injunction. So we celebrate small wins where we get them, but I think we are facing a tremendous clapback from Zionism and the establishment in terms of our ability to speak. And it's because they realize our movement is not going anywhere. And we're not going anywhere. And as we see in terrible institutions like the BBC, when they finally get a shed of light come through their programming schedules, it is struck down because of the institutional Zionism and racism within the organisation. Shame on the BBC! Children are not allowed to speak anymore. We can see those double standards because we know if a military general's child from the IOF spoke in the news and spoke about what they would describe as Israeli repression, there would be nothing about it in the news. There would be no outcry about it. But the second a Palestinian child of a junior minister of agriculture speaks out about his experience of growing up under genocide, under siege, under colonialism, the BBC say that is too much for you to hear. Shame on them! And the people hear the truth, and we know why we're being banned. We're being banned because they don't want us to speak the truth, and because they know that we're not going anywhere. So I invite a steadfast comrade, Chrissy, to keep up the momentum. Viva, viva! Viva, viva!
student strike. And the thing that is striking me is what we're all doing here today is defying fear. We are taking a stand, and we will not be frightened out of our skins into the silence that they want from us. And it was said earlier that the truth is coming out. And the truth is that we are not a small little movement standing in front of New Scotland Yard today. We are a massive movement, probably in every country in the world, in some form or other. People are on the side of the Palestinians. They are on the side of those who are ready to march through the rubble, from the rubble, to rebuild their lives out of the rubble. And when they are ready to do that, we have to be ready to stand in the belly of the beast and take on every single agency that would silence us. And that's what this picket has represented. Not this one, but the pickets that we've had over the years, the 69th, and today a 70th picket outside of Scotland Yard. That's what we represent. We represent the people and women, the children, the men, the animals, the land, the everything that we have to protect. And as was said before, if they steal it from the Palestinian people, they will steal the very air from all of us. So we cannot rest, and we cannot stop, and we won't, because quite frankly, it keeps us sane.
Thank you, Chrissy. Always great to hear from you. You know, comrades, the other thing about the ban, what's really important to understand, this is an assault on our right to be anti-Zionist. We have a right to be anti-Zionist. Zionism is at the heart of the conflict in the Middle East. Zionism is the reason for all the pain and suffering and misery and death and famine and genocide. It is the ideology of the settler colonialists. It is racist. It is fascist. Right? It means death, misery, pain and suffering. There is nothing good about Zionism. That is why we call ourselves the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network. Because we know this. And the Palestinians know this, and they say this all the time, and we are proud to offer them our solidarity and follow their lead. We are following their lead in this. They have asked us to speak out against Zionism, and this is one of the main reasons why we do it. So this is really important to remember and to understand, comrades. They want to ban us from speaking out against Zionism. They want to make it illegal like they have tried to do across the US, and we cannot allow it. And the way to resist it is to stand up and shout, "We are anti-Zionist! We are anti-Zionist! We are anti-Zionist! We are anti-Zionist! And we will stay anti-Zionist to our last breath." It is just like apartheid in South Africa. Can you imagine white South Africans saying, "You're being racist because you're criticizing apartheid"? This is what these Zionists sound like. We're racist against Jews because we criticize Zionism. What bollocks! Absolute rubbish. Deliberate conflation of terms in order to smear people with so-called anti-Semitism. Well, you know what? The anti-Semitism card is worn out now. It's like an expired £2 note. It has no currency, no value, and no use. So carry on with your useless strategy. It's failing before your eyes. We will carry on speaking about Zionism or against it. And we will carry on speaking out so that this false anti-Semitism doesn't see the light of day. Yeah.
On the matter of anti-Semitism, I think it's important to stress what Jonathan was pointing out was how anti-Semitism has been instrumentalized and has been emptied of value and meaning because of Zionists co-opting it. That is bad for Jews. And Jews are not the center of this. This is about Palestinians. But when anti-Semitism is constantly instrumentalized, it is emptied out of any meaning. So when real anti-Semitism happens, when Jews are denied their identity to be anti-Zionist, when Jews are attacked, for real, that does happen in places. It doesn't happen so much in the UK anymore, fortunately, but it does happen in Europe, it does happen in the rest of the world. When Jews are attacked, because of all these phony allegations, it guts anti-Semitism of any of its meaning. And we oppose anti-Semitism for the same reason that we oppose all forms of racism. Because it is bigotry. And we oppose Zionism because it is racism, because it is colonialism, and because it is imperialism.
Thank you, Oscar. It's always good to be interrupted by Oscar. All right, comrades, I'm very pleased to introduce you to Nick, who's come to see us from the community camp for Palestine outside the US Embassy. Welcome, Nick.
Hi, thank you very much. Right, listen up there, please. You're going to have your fortune read to you tonight, and you're going to hear some home truth. The people of Britain are aghast.
Do you want it to be a shorter version?
If we can try kind of like elaborate more, just if you can give like details.
Horrified and disgusted by our government's unqualified support.
So we are here with Sarah from the Women of Colour, who she's going to share her perspective and her experience with last week and the what happened last week.
Last week was the 69th week of International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network's picket calling for the expulsion of Hoteveli, the Israeli ambassador, her residence is in Swiss Cottage. At 5:30, we start every week at 5:30. The picket is led by Jewish people, but it includes everybody, all nationalities, many women and children, older, younger, families, and so on. At 5:30, when we started the picket, about 12 or 15 Zionists ran into the picket area, all in black. Some of them had their face covered. They were shouting and screaming abuse. They were trying to pull down banners. One of them tried to unplug our sound system. So the picket, we have a rule not to engage with Zionists, and the picket has been very peaceful in the face of all kinds of threats from Zionists. What we did was call on the police, do your job, move the Zionists, get them out. And we gathered together, we held up placards, we held up banners to shield ourselves, and eventually the police moved the Zionists across the road. But before the picket started, we had already seen the Zionists and the police talking together in a very friendly way, which makes us think it was all planned. And what happened, we went ahead and had the picket, but last night we heard on Twitter that the police were saying that the picket was banned. So that's why we're here tonight. But we intend to get legal advice. We're going to meet with our network and decide how we can go forward and how we can resist this ban, which we think is illegal. We believe it's illegal, and it's definitely unjust.
Agreed, thank you.
Israeli Secret Service.
When I was about 15.
Mossad has now insinuated itself so deeply into the British police force that it now controls it. Controls you, the Met Police. Israel has targeted and assassinated over 200 journalists in Gaza. The so-called British police have now arrested and interrogated almost every single journalist of note who dares report the truth about Palestine. Arrested accredited journalists, violent criminals, rapists, paedophiles are released from prison. So that so that you, yes, you Met Police, can arrest more peaceful protesters and keep them in prison on remand for up to a year with no trial. What the fuck are you doing? When you joined the police force, you took an oath. Do you remember that? Do you remember that oath you took? You took an oath to protect the British public, not to attack, crush the skulls and arrest your own countrymen at the behest of a foreign power. You have totally lost the respect and earned the hatred of vast swathes of the British public. Congratulations, and shame on you, Met Police, shame! Free Palestine! May I put in a plug here for the US camp outside the US Embassy? We've been over there half a year now, protesting what the US is doing. We are there 24 hours a day, non-stop. We need all the support we can get. So if any of you want to come down to the camp, sign up, all the support and help we can get would be really appreciated. You can do shifts, you can help cook, you can just be there and chat to people. But your support is always welcome there. That's outside the US Embassy, just past Vauxhall Bridge. Thank you all. Free Palestine.
Thank you so much, Nick. It's always great to hear from you and from the comrades at the camp. And just to second what Nick said, please go down there, guys. You know, if they're going to try and get away with banning us from Swiss Cottage, they're going to go for the camp next. They're going to go for every other protest. That is why we are going to fight tooth and nail to defend our protest. We are not going anywhere. Comrades, I'm delighted to welcome now Dave Cannon from our sister organization, the Jewish Network for Palestine. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's really important. Difficult to follow Nick. He's always a great talker. He's got some stories to tell us. JNP is a Jewish-inspired, Jewish-led organisation. We've got a website and a Facebook page. You can find out more. Anyone, whether you're Jew or any religion or no religion, is welcome to join us as long as you agree with our principles. You've heard this evening how our institutions are corrupt. You've heard about our local authorities being corrupt. We already know that the UK government is arming genocide. We know that the BBC and our media is corrupt. We've heard about Cambridge University corrupt. All our institutions are being corrupted by extreme, obscene concentrations of wealth and Zionism. The police around us should think carefully about why they have been found institutionally racist, why they have been found institutionally misogynistic. They are being used by their leaders, and they are willing to sell their souls for a bit of overtime and oppress the people of this country who have a right to peaceful protest. The final thing I'll have to say is about Israel. Founded on violent racist theft in 1948, theft of Palestinian land, theft of Palestinian lives, and that slow burn genocide has been going on for nearly 80 years. Shame on Israel. But Israel stole something else. They stole Jewish identity. They have the absurdity to have the Star of David on their flag. And we say, Judaism yes,
Zionism no! Judaism yes! Zionism no! Judaism yes! Zionism no! Free Palestine!
Thanks so much, Dave. Thanks so much. Yeah. We have a quick announcement from Adata from the camp. She just wants to tell us a bit about rotas and I think the best time to come down. Is that right?
Hello everyone. As the comrade mentioned earlier, yeah, we are 24/7 picket, and we need help with shifts at the moment to keep the camp going. So if you have any time to spare, please come down and help us with the shift and guard in the camp, because this is what we need the most, because we need really to keep the camp going. So please, if you have an hour, 2 hours to spare, please come down and help us with men in the camp, please. Thank you. Free Palestine and fuck Israel!
Thanks, Adata. Thanks so much. And now, comrades, my great pleasure to introduce my dear comrade Kerry, who is going to talk to us about Nurses for Palestine, I guess. Is that right?
Nurses for Free Palestine!
For Free Palestine.
Hi. Yes, and I see colleagues here tonight. Nurses for Free Palestine. We're a group. We came out of the group, the Health Workers for Palestine, because which is mainly doctors, and we thought, oh well, we should have nurses should be speaking against what's happening. And we started off by, and we still are, pressing the Royal College of Nursing
But he's not here.
National Nursing Council
Hi. So we are here with Pat, who is going to kindly share his perspective, and what do you think of what happened last week?
I think what happened last week is shocking. There's clearly a determined plan here with the Zionists to disrupt the pro-Palestinian movement in Britain, and it's quite a serious thing, and it's bordering on unlawful behaviour. What shocks me most of all is the police are complicit in this. Now, the police are acting beyond the borders of legal responsibility. They shouldn't be doing that. This here tonight is Palestinian space, and we had Zionist agent provocateurs come into our midst trying to disrupt us, photograph our faces and everything. Pure intimidation. Now in Manchester the police have banned young men from doing this to women on the street, and yet every week the police condone and actually encourage and actively help the Zionists to intimidate pro-Palestinian protesters. Now, I think it's all wrong. I had one occasion down in Tottenham Court Road where two policemen came over beside me and encouraged a Zionist agent provocateur to provoke me. I'm a 74-year-old man who's protesting about the genocide in Palestine. I am not allowed to occupy a piece of Palestinian space that we had booked from the day, from the Metropolitan. That was our space. They allowed them deliberately. No other protester. I wouldn't be allowed to go into the middle of a Jewish meeting. So there's clearly a double standard and a two-tier policing by the police. I know the government are pro-Israel, they're pro-Zionist, and the police are very acting on Starmer's orders, because you can see that with the arrests that were done in the recent march. Really, I think it's all wrong. I think Lamy and Starmer have lost any moral compass, any moral authority. They're coming out about stuff about Ukraine at the moment. They've lost any moral compass and responsibility to talk about Ukraine or anywhere else in the world. Britain has gone down in the world, in the southern nations and that. The people have lost respect for Britain. We had Keir Starmer going to a Holocaust site in Germany. At the same time, he was encouraging Israel and supplying arms to bomb and conduct a genocide in Gaza. It's just beyond belief. It's horrible what happened in previous generations of the world. This is industrialized destruction of a people. We've seen this previously in genocides like the Great Hunger in Ireland. We saw it in Germany in the 1930s, and we're seeing it today in Palestine. It is the industrialised destruction of a people, and the world needs to stand up, and the Muslim nations and all the people of the world need to stand up, and the southern nations, China and Russia, and every country in the world needs to stand against this tyranny. that's happening, really. And I would condemn what Trump's saying about Gaza. It's just contemptible that he wants to push a whole people out and destroy a whole people so he can build hotels and golf courses. It's unbelievable what the world has come. And the youth of the world need to stand up and say, we want a different world. And there is possible a different world.
So what you guys are going to say is,
You want
I'm going to try to drum out a rhythm and we'll see how it goes, right? But you've got to raise your voices and try and keep the time, yeah? So after me, guys. We are all the children of Gaza. We are all the children of Gaza.
We are all the children of Gaza. We are all the children of Gaza. We are all the children of Gaza. We are all the children of Gaza. We are all the children of Gaza. We are all the children of Gaza. We are all the children of
Okay, comrades, thank you. We have another anti-Zionist Jewish comrade, Deborah. Welcome. The mic is yours.
I'd like to have a mic. I hadn't prepared anything, so I'll just allow me to rant away for a little while. Yes, I co-founded Jews for Boycotting Israeli.
Get on the pavement, please.
Long-term signatory of Jews for Justice of Palestinians, often march with the Jewish bloc. And as you know, we're here today to protest the police banning of the protest outside Swiss Cottage. Obviously, this is probably from lots of complaints from Zionist groups. I know that the so-called campaign against anti-Semitism has a lot to do with this. That group was founded, I believe, I can't remember if it was 2009 or 2014, as a way of trying to stifle protests against Israel's bombardment of Gaza. Because those people who think it started on October the 7th, none of us but those over the road, there have been several bombardments of Gaza. I remember the one in 2009. So what the Zionists going to do? What are we going to do? Oh, Israel's getting a bad press. So they formed a campaign against anti-Semitism, which hounds people. It tries to hound people out of their jobs. I think there's several people who were arrested at the Swiss Cottage demonstration. I think they've been asked to be arrested by the campaign against anti-Semitism. And as people have been saying, there seems to be a lot of collaboration between these Zionist groups and the police. Wasn't it strange that after loads of peaceful marches, all of a sudden we couldn't march? We had to do a static protest. And the Jewish community once again was used as an excuse. Oh, you're going to be marching near a synagogue. And it didn't matter the fact that we weren't going to be marching past a synagogue, and it didn't matter that there had been no incidents, but that was used as an excuse. The police had no answer to that. The BBC, as usual, misreported it, and as usual, the cares of the organised Jewish community they seem to think are more important than the cares of the anti-Zionist Jewish community, or non-Zionist, those who march. But of course it's just an excuse. I mean, some Jews who go to synagogue may not be Zionists anyway, but they are using the organised community as an excuse to stop the march. Once again, the BBC did not show the Jewish bloc. I have never known the BBC to show the Jewish bloc. I've complained about it, and they've said they have, but I think they haven't. They've never shown Netura Carter either. So anyway, going back to my point, that march that became a static protest, the police were giving out conflicting messages. They were putting up different lines, different barriers, but one policeman did let people through. They let people through only for them to be arrested. Chris Nynham, the chief steward, was jumped on, really savagely arrested. All he was doing was going up to the police to talk to them, and they jumped on him. Then, of course, and I've got footage of them arresting a young boy, and he walks off limping and crying, and an older woman that they pushed her to the ground as well. And as someone said, the police are here to protect us. They are supposed to prevent violence, they're supposed to stop violence, but where's the violence coming from? The violence is coming from the police. And let me bring up another incident. Aside from that march, going back to July, I must tell you about the case of Wasim Youssef, he's local to me, and he was fundraising in Whitechapel in July, had a Palestinian flag. Well, one policeman tried to pull the flag off him, then he was jumped on by 5 other police officers, held in a neck lock, pushed to the ground, and to this day he is in pain. He has been signed off for work for 18 months. His MP complained to the police, they got it investigated, and guess what? The CPS said, oh, there's not enough evidence. Even though the general public, looking at the video, can see all the evidence that the police were assaulting him. Despite that, they have now charged him with assault. And he's already had one hearing, and actually let me just publicise that on the 13th of March, Wasim Youssef's case will be heard at Snaresbrook Crown Court. But I'm sure there are numerous other examples, and it's pretty clear that we are turning into a police state. And somebody else said how the Mossad seems to be infiltrating the police. We've got all these cases of journalists and activists being raided. One lady, Sarah Wilkinson, being denied her medication. Her mother's ashes thrown everywhere. That's one example. And then there's my anti-Zionist Jewish friend, Tony Greenstein. He's been raided as well. And listen to this, you probably know, he has been charged under the Terrorism Act. This government are misusing the Terrorism Act against peaceful protesters, and they're saying, oh, he supported a prescribed organisation. Well, first of all, he didn't specifically say that he supported Hamas, but let me just say this. What Hamas did is nothing compared, listen to them, they don't like it, do they? What Hamas did is nothing compared to what Israel has been doing for 15 months, and what all right, let me finish, and what Israel has been doing for 80 years. Okay, 80 years of ethnic cleansing, I'll talk about that in a minute. 58 years, is it, of occupation? I can't count anymore. Yeah, it's about my age, 58 years of occupation, 16, 17 years of siege, and now 15 months of genocide. Israel is committing state terrorism. How can anyone moan about Hamas when Israel is bombing schools, hospitals, tents, shooting at babies? Yes, they shoot at babies because babies' bodies who have been found in babies' bodies. Listen, let me finish. Babies' bodies which have been found in hospital have had bullet holes to the head. Meanwhile, Israel is not letting food and water in. They are starving people. People are dying of infection. People are dying of their wounds. People are dying of disease. So this is what genocide and state terrorism looks like. So really, the IDF should be a proscribed organisation. Anyone who is seen to support the so-called IDF, especially those going out to fight with it, they should be arrested under international law for being complicit in a genocide. And our government, of course, what our government is doing is it's shooting the messenger. Because let me finish, I'm not going to say much more. But our government is complicit in this genocide, and that is why they are literally shooting, well, not literally, shooting the messenger. The government is silencing the messenger because they don't want us to shine a torch on their light. Now, these Zionists are obviously getting very upset because they've got deep denial. Their deep denial is internalized and making them angry. And those legal observers are not legal observers. They were Zionists who were seen on a protest supporting the sacking, asking for the sacking of a Palestinian professor. And guess what? They were moaning about. They were asking for Jewish students to be protected, but guess what? There were far more Jewish students on the anti-Zionist side. There were far more people on the pro-Palestinian side. Many of them were Jews, and I repeat again, there were far more Jewish students supporting the Palestinian professor than the pathetic Zionist protesters, half of whom are Jewish. So, I've said my piece, that's it. I think I've said enough for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you so much. And I think that message that the number of anti-Zionist Jews is growing dramatically. Every single month there are more and more of us. Zionism is a dying breed. Zionism is a death cult which is going down the toilet of history. Not pay any attention to those loudmouth ignoramuses across the street. We know what we're about. We know what they are about. And we will stay anti-Zionist forever.
Oh, you're the lady who wants to do the interview.
No, I just want to make it.
It's a bit loud here.
Yeah, let's go a little bit further down.
Yeah, a bit further down. No, the reason is I wear hearing aids and they amplify everything, so yeah, it's a bit difficult to hear at the moment. Sorry, I can't hear what you say.
Cable Street. If you could speak about Cable Street as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
If you want to get on about Cable Street, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
might have problems hearing, but still. Battle of Cable Street, known as the Battle of Cable Street.
Would you like to take a... Just take a step back. So we're here with Janet, who is going to explain the Battle of Cable Street and also her perspective on what happened last week in the protest.
I want to start by saying that at Swiss Cottage last week, I explained to people that it was my birthday the next day and that I would be 1 year and 3 months older than the State of Israel. The Nakba took place in 1948. Sorry? Oh. Sorry. The Nakba took place in 1948. I was born in 1947, so this has been going on for my entire lifetime. Now, last week at Swiss Cottage, the people from the Zionist opposition came into the picket. They came up to us, they came in our faces. It was very intimidating, it was very frightening. Finally, after insisting for a very, very long time, the police escorted them out. But at the fringes, they still carried on shouting and swearing and uttering obscenities at us. And now the police want to ban us, whereas they were the people who were being aggressive, not us. Now, they will tell you that all this began on the 7th of October 2023. Well, not only did it not begin then, it didn't even begin a year after I was born, in 1948. It's been going on forever, and there have been international Jews who are not Zionists who have been opposing this also for 150 years. And I'd also like to tell you, because this is why I am involved, that my father was one of the organisers of the Battle of Cable Street, and that was in 1936, on the 4th of October 1946, when the fascists under Oswald Mosley, who were supporters of Hitler and anti-Semitic, wanted to march through Whitechapel, the Jewish area, and that's where all the Jews and the Irish people lived, and they came out in their thousands and to stop the fascists, and they stopped them marching, and the police were out in full to protect the fascists, and they ended up having a battle with the police. And this is quite relevant because it shows that even then, in the 1930s, police were protecting fascists. They weren't protecting the people who were being attacked by the fascists. Now, these were Jews, and I know them because I grew up with them. None of them were Zionists. And if people want to tell you that all Jews support Israel, not only is this not true, it has never been true. Right?
Thank you, Janet. Thank you.
Hello. I think in a way that I'm going to echo what that lady said. I've lived in Palestine and the occupied territories, and some years ago I was at a Labour Party conference, and an Israeli woman who worked against the occupation said, "I'm Israeli, I'm Jewish, my parents were pioneers, my grandparents died in the Holocaust, but the world should know what Israel is doing is wrong." If that woman came here now and said this, she would probably be arrested. It is an ethical voice. And women like that and people like this deserve an ethical country. And I'm afraid at the moment, I am ashamed of Britain. At this moment, we are still bombing the West Bank. We are distributing weapons to Israel. We are distributing information. We are complicit in what is going on there. And you may not know, but we at the moment are the only country which is not offering medical help to Palestinian children, although doctors who have been working there have begged Starmer, begged him to help. And these children are not allowed in, although there are doctors here who will help them. There are hospitals here who will receive them. There is money to bring them in, but the Home Office has refused a visa. This is so shaming, and I am tonight really ashamed to be British.
I'm with the Christmas Football Show, these guys.
Oh, okay. Yes, I saw you earlier.
Yeah, I was waiting for the cameraman to turn up. Who's the Zionist?
Nice to meet you.
You as well.
Okay, so we have now come to the end of the live stream. Please subscribe to our channel and keep posted. Thank you. Bye.